Hello, world. This is America's Supermom, and this is a special edition that I call the Corona Chronicles. During this time, we are suffering from a pandemic that is affecting everyone across the world. We are joined with the rules and regulations of being shelter in place, which means we are limited with the ability to go about our daily business, confined to our homes based on a coronavirus that has been sweeping the entire world. For some people, the effects could be mild. For others, it can be fatal. So we are coming together as a community, as a family during this time of difficulty to share what it is like in our part of the world, how we are affected, and the things that we have in common, what kind of problems that are taking place in our industries and in our relationships and finances, and coming together so that we can plan for a better tomorrow. As this epidemic or pandemic crosses the world, we are waiting for relief. We're waiting for the virus to die off and for us to go back to some state of normalcy, whatever that may be, after things kind of settle down. So, what is that going to look like once the dust settles? How are things going to be different? So as we go through this process, we're coming together as a world to create ideas, strategies, connect in ways that we have never connected before. So that is the purpose of the special podcast that I call the Corona Chronicles, so that we can get some insight and have empathy and compassion on one another, create new, innovative ideas that can not only improve our life, but our fellow brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Alison?
I am doing just well, very blessed. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. So I'm so glad that you were able to join me this morning. Um, Before we dive into your discussion, I see you as a wellness coach. So right now we all need a lot more wellness, okay?
We do.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, your backstory, how you got into wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Thank you for the opportunity. So, boy, wellness right now more than ever for sure, right? And when we hear about wellness, we think about I know I think about initially used to think about like body, right? Being healthy of body, but it's so much more than that. And that's what I've learned on my journey. It's really a mind, body, and spiritual aspect to it. So, just a little bit of background on me. I never thought I would be a wellness coach. It's not something that was on my heart from the beginning. I was always taught that I should really and taught through messages, really, not necessarily taught that I had to do something, but it was always about going to school, getting good grades, being an overachiever, going to college, picking a major, graduating, and then working really for the rest of my life. That's kind of what I set out to do: get married, have a family, all of those things. Um, and so that's what I did.
Right.
But there was always kind of in my heart a little tug that I was meant for something more. And at the end of all of that, or during all of that, I have been a corporate working professional for over 20 years. And I'm married to my husband, David. We've been married for over 15 years. And I always knew that I wanted to be a mom. And really, the heart of my story is that, and I know you're a super mom, so you can relate. Not 15, but I always knew that I wanted to be a mom, but it didn't go as planned.
Okay.
And in 2009, my husband and I started to try to have a family,
Mm.
and it ended up taking us 4.5 years
Okay.
and 11 fertility attempts. I
Wow.
had a miscarriage at number three, and then I also lived in the hospital on bed rest for 7 weeks.
Wow.
And, that is at the time, I don't really think I knew how traumatizing that was, but I just kept going because that's what I knew in my heart that I was meant for. And my daughter is an angel. She is a miracle sent from God. I know perfectly for me. And so I would do it all again in a heartbeat because it was completely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went back to work after my maternity leave was over, I just quickly found myself desiring more flexibility, and I wanted to own my own schedule and make some income, certainly to help support the family. And it was right around that time that I was introduced to an opportunity to have my own business.
Okay.
And that was really an answer that I never thought would be there. But
Right.
so I started in the health and wellness space as a brand ambassador for a network marketing company,
Mm-hmm.
and really learned through that process that it was not just about body health, but
Mm-hmm.
if I was going to grow a business and share these incredible products with others, that I needed to grow myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it was right about 4 years ago, around 2016, when I jumped into a healthy lifestyle. There's a 30 days to healthy living lifestyle. And I had always been diets, I mean, disordered eating habits and different things. So I stepped into this healthy lifestyle, and a couple things changed. Not only did it allow me to gain energy and some focus and clarity and release some weight, but it also opened my mind to dream bigger. And
Mm-hmm.
I learned through that process, not just of paying attention and addressing my physical health and my body health through nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
but also through diving into personal growth and development to understand more about my, and that's where the I was led to learn about mindset and how much that plays a critical component and factor into how we function every day, not just in our lives and our jobs, but as parents. And then
Mm-hmm.
also the spiritual aspect as well. So when I talk about being a wellness coach, it's yes, providing tools for body health, but spiritual health and mindset as well. And so that's what brings me to where I am today, just on this journey and helping others and continuing to uncover myself and learn ways and more ways that I can do that to serve others.
That is just phenomenal. So, this you've had quite a journey, such a
Oh, yes.
wonderful. Now, so talk to us about that time, about the journey with the baby, the fertility and your mindset. So, this is something that you've come to grasp now.
Hmm.
For a lot of our listeners who may be struggling, not only with this virus, but, that actually can impact your ability to move forward. When we have certain things that are happening in our lives. So, how were you able to get past that mindset that might have been going on during that process of 11 fertility, treatments? That's something like that is just remarkable.
Yeah, it's thank you. I mean, 11. I look back now and I'm like, what? And I've tried two more times that. And it's actually interesting that you asked this question because I think back to where I was then,
Mm-hmm.
and mm, a lot of it was faith, was just not knowing, right, the outcome, and it was just pressing forward, and doing so with this steadfast determination
Mm-hmm.
that I was pulling from, and I give it all to God. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
place right now where I do desire to have another child. And
Mm-hmm.
so all of the things that I've learned in my personal growth journey have able to help me now in this place. So uh, some of those tools, I mean, for anybody who's in this, I mean, we're in this place right now where there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fear. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know what the future holds. Yet at the same time, we what I keep coming back to, Lachelle, is focusing on what we can control. Okay. And letting go of the things that we cannot control. And I
Wow.
think when I go back to my fertility journey before, and that's really what I did, it was what can I control in this process? Okay. I can control the steps that I take, listening to my doctors. Okay. Trusting
Mm-hmm.
in that they had my best interest, trusting in modern medicine. I know people who are having fertility journeys or fertility struggles. Boy, it can take a really big toll on your mindset. And yes, I had all of the questions of, am I doing all the right things? Is this going to work? I remember counting the days. I mean, so many times counting the days of like my period and, what day is it? And that can become all consuming
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people. And so during that time, and even now to this day, I focus on the things that I can control. So a couple of those things, um, what we consume, okay, what we
Mm-hmm.
eat, what are the
Mm-hmm.
things that we are feeding our body that can aid in not only our body physically to be less inflamed, to not only support immunity in the case of where we are now, but in our fertility journey, what are the foods that we can eat? And some of the things that I have since learned since my first fertility journey was eliminating the things that could be inflammatory to the body. So cutting back on dairy, cutting back on gluten, eliminating some of those things that could be a trigger for inflammation. So a great resource for any of your listeners
Mm-hmm.
to find out what foods are inflammatory and what foods and drinks are not is they can simply Google alkaline food chart and
Okay.
see. So that's a really good way to focus on something that you control. What am I putting in my body? The
Right.
next thing is also limiting toxin exposure. What am I doing? What is my environment like? And how could that be impacting my body? Because we all have a choice, right? The things we can control. What am I using on my body? And paying attention to that. What am I using in my environment as far as what is what type of cleaning agents am I using? Limiting
Mm-hmm.
exposures to chemicals. What taking a look at this is just one thing that we control. Taking a look at like the things that go on our skin. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
this back then. Learn this until I was actually pregnant with my daughter Evelyn. I was 4 months pregnant and I was vacationing in Florida and I was getting a facial and I learned through that esthetician that anything that we put on our skin gets absorbed in less than a
Mm-hmm.
minute. And all of those things that get absorbed into our body, 60% of those get absorbed into our bloodstream and internal organs. So how
Mm-hmm.
is what we are putting on our skin impacting our internal health? And so
Wow.
there's a lot of resources that are out there. You can Google Dirty Dozen. You can find out, the European Union does regulate toxin exposure. I happen to be a brand ambassador for a company that eliminates over 2,000 ingredients from our skincare and makeup and personal care products and nutrition and things like that. Really taking a look at what we're using on our skin because that
Mm-hmm.
can impact our body. So that's another thing we control. The third thing is really our attitude and our
Mm-hmm.
mindset through all of this, and through a fertility journey, or through navigating through this fear and overwhelm and balancing what am I doing in this situation? And believe me, we're all human beings, and no
Mm,
one is perfect through this time, through any journey. And not only have I been through that traumatic journey of fertility, but many things along the way. Um,
mm,
but we can control our attitude. What are some of the things that we can do that when we find ourselves in a place of fear or doubt or overwhelm or stress or worry about what the outcome is, then kind of
mm,
switching that, maybe how could, first off, the first step is recognizing our thoughts and our feelings and the things that we are experiencing. And the second step is really to edit them. We all have the capacity and the ability to stop ourselves, to before we say something or before we continue on down that thought process. And the
mm,
third thing is really to listen to positive messages. How can we fill our mindset with positive messages, whether that's switching to a higher thought, such as,
mm,
let's see, if I find myself in a place of fear, recognizing that fear of the
mhm,
outcome, kind of editing that, stopping ourselves where we are, and then switching to a higher thought. Where can I find a positive thought? Where can I find something to be grateful for? Because we can't live in fear and gratitude at the same time.
mhm,
And so, another way that I have learned is to listen to positive self talk to
mhm,
help our brains be able to not just monitor and edit, but help listen to positive self-talk, listen to positive messages, listen to affirmations. And I'd be happy to
mhm,
share a resource with your listeners at the end of this of a lifetime library of positive self-talk that they can listen to, that I listen to, that I have my daughter listen to.
mm,
It's funny, we were going to sleep last night, and as a parent, it's interesting in this time trying to navigate that what are the messages that we're sharing with our kids, right? That can be so impactful. But we were going to sleep last night, and for the last couple to positive self-talk for girls.
mhm,
She's 6.5 now, and we used to listen to positive self-talk for younger kids, and we've graduated to the positive self-talk for girls. But it's all about attitude
mm,
and choices and believing in ourselves. And she said to me when we were going to sleep last night, she's like, "I can't go to sleep. Can you turn on the positive self-talk for girls?" And it's just like reiterating those messages. So focusing what we can control, what we're feeding our body, what we're feeding or what we're using on our skin, and
mhm,
then what is our attitude and what are the thoughts that we're thinking, so that it all kind of goes together.
mhm. That is so awesome. So, that is a great practice. And, as you can see, the outcomes can be so great, from following that process. So, what would you say to somebody, who is in that place of, you're wondering, am I crazy? Is this really going to be the outcome that I want? Because,
Mm-hmm.
the strength and perseverance you had to have for 11 times. Your family is probably saying, are you going to give this up? Or, you know, um, nobody knows how to embrace that because 11 times, for somebody else whose vision that is not doesn't have the tenacity to keep going. So they may not be able to support you during that journey. So, what was it that you could say to somebody that could encourage them to keep moving forward?
There's two things actually that I
Mhm.
would say to somebody, two tools that I would give to someone.
Mhm.
First off is we can only control the now, right? It goes back to that control. Our
Mhm.
future exists in potential.
Mhm.
Two ways that I think that can benefit somebody in this journey is visualization
Mm. Okay.
and tapping into emotions of the outcome. Okay, the outcome that we want.
Mhm.
So, first off, visualization. I remember somebody told me this when I was going through my fertility journey. Picture picture the embryo growing in your womb. And I was like, what does that even mean? Um, like, but what I've learned now is that visualization is so much bigger than that. Visualization is what I mean of the outcome. Picture
Right.
yourself with your child. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
what feelings that evoke?
Right.
What Picturing that outcome, like in your mind, crystal clear, each every day,
Mm-hmm.
writing down and journaling as if it has happened already.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal clear, like where am I? I'm holding that child. What does that feel like for me? That feelings of joy, of gratitude, of being in that place of those feelings, those emotions, and that is what I would tell someone to tap into.
Begin.
And it's not.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
that is that's profound because I've been there in terms of my
Hmm.
depression where you visualize. So how do you balance what you're visualizing with your daily routine? Because for example, you're visualizing this and you're going through this journey, so people are like, I don't know about it, is she you know what I'm
I
saying?
know.
Because we're on the other side and the outcome has been accomplished. For somebody who is, that's just like you're dreaming for this, house, and you may not even have a
Right.
job. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But you still can have the
You can
visual.
still have the
So,
visual, you can still have the emotions. And,
right.
because I'm exactly in this place now where that's what I desire again. But and
Mm-hmm.
those questions that you bring up of, oh, okay, I'm doing it now. What if this isn't going to work? Is this going to work? That's our ego. Okay. That's our
Okay.
subconscious mind that is there to
Mm,
remind us of this, like it's like this shadow box. This Our ego is there to remind us of our history and of what won't work.
right.
And so I
Uh,
I think, and I've struggled with mental illness as well. Mine has been anxiety, a variety of anxiety and
mm,
depression. But I mean, it's the visual. It's every day. I mean, it's doing the
mm,
work.
mm,
It's looking within. And that seems like a lot of fluff when you say it, but it brings me to like this law of attraction. Okay. And like, yes, you can
right.
visualize the house, and you may not have a job, but
Mm,
it's or visualizing the baby, and you're going through all of the struggle. To me, some of the things I've
right.
learned about the law of attraction and manifesting and visualizing what you want and having those emotions of what you want is law of attraction is more about like looking within yourself and learning, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's say you have this fear of failure. Okay, well, where does
Mm,
that feel like of it could relate to a baby, it could relate to coming out of a depression, coming out of what it's
mm-hmm.
those feelings of that you recognize that are telling you that's not possible. Okay, well, let's dig a little deeper on those feelings. Where are those coming from? It could be a past life trauma that happened when we were young. Most of the things come from when we were young, between the ages of 0 and 7. And like,
Mm-hmm.
how can I meditation is a great way to kind of quiet our mind and be
Mm-hmm.
able to focus on our breath and be in the present moment so that we can kind of get some clarity and it of where those things are coming from. I think that yes, we can do the practices of visualization and tapping into our emotions and continue to do that, because that's what's going to attract the outcome that we desire, those feelings, those emotions, as if it is already happening. And it takes practice. It does take practice.
Yeah.
It's not a one and done type of thing. That's
Yeah.
right.
I really love that because it was at this point just in my own journey that I recognized that I could choose
Hmm.
the out, rather than just be going along like a
Hmm.
robot. I was able to decide that this is what I wanted. Because, you do have that inner
Mm-hmm.
dialogue, and doesn't help when sometimes people are on the outside, you get those looks. People are like, you're telling your story, not that you're going around telling everybody, but it comes
Mm-hmm.
up sometimes, people are probably like, oh, great. And then you just sense that they may be like, when is she going to stop?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just knowing that you do have a choice to decide that you're going to um, go with the visualization more so than what you see right now.
Yes.
And the thing that to really impress.
And we're we're
Mm-hmm.
we're we're not like, if you're exactly right. We all have a choice, right? We're not
Mm-hmm.
victims. We can choose to be victors, right? Over being a victim of our circumstances and things just happening to us. We can choose to um, stop that ego mind, that chatter, to recognize that thought and to choose something else, to choose something higher in each moment. And as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
just being a victim, right? And letting things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we can choose to focus on what we can control. We can
Mm-hmm.
choose
Mm-hmm.
to seek out resources that and tools that can help us in our journey, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I think the thing that I'm getting at too is it's going to take work to
Oh,
do that,
yes.
because it's just come easy. You grew up, you were on this journey of what you thought you were going to do, but then something transpires that allows you to dig deeper. But it's like instead of allowing things to happen, you're choosing what you desire. So you have to do the work to kind of set the stage
You
for that.
do,
With that,
yeah, right. And it's almost like you have to, rise above your circumstances, or things that you have. And faith is a big part of that for me. It's trusting in God, and it's also surrendering to the outcome. I mean,
right.
we can all be, and we all are, have the capability to be resilient, right? And to not let our circumstances define us, and to choose higher or choose better.
Mm-hmm.
But it does take work. It takes
Right.
devotion. It takes deciding. I mean, through this journey, and where I am now, it's interesting to look back and to know that each piece was, I was led here for a reason, right? And everything, I have a friend who refers to things as divine breadcrumbs, like these little things in our life that lead us on our journey. I know that I was meant to have my daughter, that she was the only one that was meant for me, and that I had to go through that
Mm-hmm.
journey to get there. I also know that I had to go through that journey to get there so that I could give hope to other people, so that I could share my journey and share that. And
Mm-hmm.
where it's led me to today is a devotion to my own personal growth first and foremost. I mean, it's the first thing I do every single morning. I come downstairs, I wake up earlier, I do my meditation, I do my journaling. I did some yoga this morning. I mean, it's a non-negotiable to be
Right.
proactive about improving your mind, body, and spiritual health.
Right. Okay. So this is great insight that you're giving now for somebody who is on that journey, and it may not be fertility, it
Mm-hmm.
could be something else. How do you gauge how long to do it? Because, some people are like, they set a deadline, they've got this big goal, they're doing all these practices, and, did you have a point where you had like a date that it was like, okay, it's going to happen, in order for you to keep going? What did that look like?
It's a lifelong journey.
Okay.
It's committing for life. I mean, when
Mm,
I think about it, like when I went into, and the reason this is coming up, I started mentoring a human trafficking survivor. And when I entered into
mm,
that, it wasn't for a certain period of time. it was for
Mm-hmm.
a lifelong relationship. This is a lifetime relationship with yourself that you are committing to
Mm-hmm.
for your growth. And I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
it's making it a non-negotiable. It's committing for life, because we are on this journey for life and we do not know the path ahead. However, it's so wonderful
Mm-hmm.
when you do commit to that, the things that you see come up. And we're lifelong learners. Like, I've committed to this journey. And in the beginning, I was like, what the heck is this meditation thing all about? I had to Google it because I had no clue how to meditate. I was like, what is this all about? Um, but it's funny
Right.
because I started that practice, and then it led me to uncover different teachers, and that led me to uncover different tools, and it led me to, it's like our intuition is such a great guide, for us. It's like when you sit with yourself and you commit to improving yourself, then you have that ability, to just have some clarity and kind of just follow where you're led. I could have never dreamed that I'd be a self-talk trainer and a wellness coach and helping others in their
Mm-hmm.
journey. But I've been led here through the
Mm-hmm.
continual practice. So I think, yes, it's great to have a goal in mind, but uh, let go of the outcome, especially because we don't know where that's going to come from, or where we might be led on our path. And so, yeah, I mean, right now, I'm, like I said, I do desire another child, and I'm taking being mindful of the things that I can control. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been led to do a lot of journey soul growth, and work with an energy healer to uncover some blocks. But I'm also
Right.
I don't have a date in mind, because I'm just kind of let go of that
Right.
outcome, and I'm learning along the way. The other day I said to somebody in a conversation, I'm not getting any younger. And I was like, wait a
Right.
second, is that what I'm telling myself? I'm not getting any younger? Well, that's not helping me in my journey. Well,
Right.
if that's what I'm telling myself, well, there's no way that you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm not going to say that anymore, because that's blocking me from
Absolutely. Yeah. It's those underlying thoughts that, go on in our subconscious.
exactly.
So, you
Hmm.
mentioned meditation, and a lot of so some people are in a space where they're at home and they've never had the quote unquote time
Hmm.
to meditate. So, what would you say is the greatest benefit? Because people hear about it, but what has that done to transform you with
It's
meditation?
allowed me, first off, to be more present in the moment, because when you meditate, and
Mm-hmm.
whether that's taking a minute during the course of your day to just simply
Mm-hmm.
breathe in through your nostrils and breathe out through your nostrils, and take those breaths, you know, that is meditation. It's being, it's
Mm-hmm.
just being in the moment, being present. Your thoughts are going to come,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You just let them go.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to look within. It's allowed me to
Mm-hmm.
find that. And meditation can be breathing, it can be prayer, and a spiritual practice that we're
Mm-hmm.
on, just being present in the moment. And I finding the space and time, because we all have time to be present for a
Right.
moment. And I think it really does benefit our calm and our peace of mind. And especially now in this
Mm-hmm.
moment, like there's definitely a lot of fear circulating around.
Mm-hmm.
Fear of what's coming, what's next, am I doing this, how can I get my toilet paper, like, I mean, all of these things, like, right, do I have enough food to last me, like, oh my god, do I leave the house, do I sanitize my packages, I mean, like, is my child learning enough, like, there's all of these and then my heart goes out to
Right.
just this world in general, all the people that don't have some of the things that I have. I mean, it's just this uncertain time, but
Right.
having that space to creating that space for yourself, deciding it's a choice. We all have a choice. We can use the excuse that we
Mm-hmm.
don't have the time, but really, do we all have, could we wake up 15 minutes
Right.
earlier and just sit with ourselves and breathe? Yes, we could.
Right. That is so awesome. Now, and then as we wrap up, this decision after you get for
Hmm.
maternity leave, you're deciding to, enter into a new career. So some people are at this place now where it is not so, um, not the most ideal circumstance, but maybe their, career might be
Hmm.
disrupted. They have to do something than what they've
Right.
always known. What would you give them to make that transition, right now?
As far as what lies ahead and what they would look at, what I would say is there is kind of use this as a time to figure out where your strengths lie, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
what are the strengths that I have, right? And there's a great book that's called it's called UMAP, YOUMAP.
Kristen
Yes.
share?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I know.
So that helped me identify my strengths and some of the motivating skills that I have. That is it. But also it's a time to be resourceful. Okay, maybe this is a time, maybe you've
Mm-hmm.
been desiring to write, right? Maybe you've been desiring to share your voice, share your journey. Here's the time when we can all be brave. Social media is at our
Mm-hmm.
fingertips, certainly, and there's a lot of resources that have come through social media. But, it is a place, I see it as such a positive place where there's a community of people who are rising up and sharing positive messages. I think, you know, all those things you've been wanting to do, those dreams you've had,
Mm-hmm.
maybe this is a time to
Mm-hmm.
begin to uncover them and begin to pursue them. And so that's kind of the advice that I would give somebody because it is so uncertain. I mean, yes, I never thought I'd have a business, but a great way for me to one of my strengths is that I've learned through this process is called woo. It's called winning others over. So it
Oh,
was I was like, okay, that's great. But I've been able to use that as a strength within my business because it's allowed me personally to um, dig into building relationships, to having this time now. Let's now's a great time to call up somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time and get to know them better. How are you feeling in this moment? Asking questions. So I think that is a great thing for people to do, not only now but in general, and just to find ways to be resourceful. Um, I am
mhm.
grateful that the thing that was brought to me, a word of mouth network marketing business, is fine,
Mm,
and it is a way
mhm,
to not only gain health but to be able to share that with other people. I mean, we all recommend things to each other, right? Things, tools that we've learned, books or movies or podcasts or things. Network marketing is a great space because it does allow you to have that word of mouth. And it's something that can be done online. So, finding products that you love, finding ways that you can help others. I think just leaning into how can we serve. And so that would be a suggestion I would have for your listeners.
awesome. So, in conclusion, last
Yeah.
question. This is a mom thing. Some healthy snack choices that we could give the kids. A lot of moms have their
Hmm.
kids at home and they're doing
Yep.
the digital learning and not out, do a lot of things. So, in terms of diet, what are some things that you would recommend for them to stay healthy, keep their energy kind of level, and not spiking with a lot
I
of
know,
sugar and
right?
things
I
like
mean, oh, right. You don't want them to have those snacks. I mean,
that?
it's interesting because we're in this time now where we we do need those things on hand. So fruit is always good. Apples or hummus, like, and veggies like carrots and hummus. And your kids might not be used to that, but if they're hungry enough, they're going to eat it.
Mhm.
It's if it's in your house,
Right.
they're going to eat it, right? So, as a mom, like, we were going through this last night. I'm hungry. Well, we have we have cashews, we have almonds, we have chips and hummus, chips and salsa, like tortilla chips and salsa. We have fruit bars, like these different things. Go ahead. If you're hungry enough, you're going to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say, some of those things are good for snacking as opposed to the, chips or Doritos or sugar filled snacks and things that, are going to give a spike in sugar, but they're going to give a crash to them too. And don't really promote, not only immunity boosting, but sustainable energy. You can go back to that
Mm-hmm.
alkaline chart that I recommended earlier and see some of the things, limit the dairy. Um, we use, in our house, we use rice milk. My daughter loves rice milk, and it comes in a box through, that's like,
Oh
so,
yeah.
it's sweeter, so we get them shipped on Amazon, so she loves that. And healthy proteins, certainly, like almond butter or, cashew butter.
Mm-hmm.
We do protein smoothies, for her. Like, here's your breakfast. It's a protein smoothie with a scoop of almond butter in it, and it's got some, plant-based protein and rice milk and ice, and I throw some spinach in there, and, like, here you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is awesome. Well, I have really enjoyed our discussion, the great nuggets that you've shared, and hats off to you and the things that you've accomplished. It's just great. I'm glad we were able to cross paths, and just thank you for your insight. It's been very
Well, thank you
valuable.
for having me.
So, any,
Thank you for having me. I think it's a great time for, us to just rise up and help others and share the gifts that we have, share our lights, share our resources, and, be
Mhm.
that for each other. And I'm grateful that we are connected as well, and we're able to have this conversation.
Awesome. So, is there any last words and then a way that everybody can
Yeah,
get a
no,
hold of
my
you?
last words are really just go back to, um, trusting, focusing on what you can control, and know that you are worthy. You are worthy of rising above this. You are worthy of choosing a higher thought, of choosing, um, your destiny and dreaming bigger, and using this as an opportunity to lean into those dreams that are on your heart because they are there for a reason. And, that people can get in
Mm.
touch with me in a couple different ways. My website, AlisonBucklin.com. It's ALISONBUCKLIN.com. And, that's a way you
Mm-hmm.
can, there's some positive affirmations that you can subscribe to there. And, I'll have you on my email list. But I also, on my resources tab, have a way to use positive self talk. Your listeners can download a, free
Mm-hmm.
30-day trial of positive self talk that they can listen to. I'm also on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
Alison Bucklin, and then Facebook, and, you can find me in those areas as well.
Okay. All righty. Well, it has been a pleasure, and you guys stay
Oh yeah,
safe.
I'm
And
in
where are you
Baltimore, Maryland.
located?
Where are you? Oh, you're in Georgia.
I'm in
Okay. Yeah,
Georgia.
that's right. I knew we were on the East time. Yeah, I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just doing the best I can, working, doing my business, being positive,
Mm-hmm.
being a light, and, hoping to do you're doing the same. So I appreciate what you're doing because, um, to be a resource for others, and any way we can do that is great. So I admire and respect you for what you are accomplishing as well and helping others.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I look
Yeah.
forward to us connecting again. And again,
Have a
thank you for
wonderful,
joining me.
beautifully blessed day.
You as
Okay, take
well.
care.
Talk soon, okay?
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
What a great discussion with Allison. The main takeaway I get from this discussion is that are we committed or just interested in the dreams and aspirations that we have? You know, if we're committed, it's a lifelong journey, as she said, and you may have trials and obstacles that go along in striving for that dream or that outcome. However, if you're committed, you are going to stay the course no matter what it takes. You know, you will just continue to press on in spite of the noise, distractions, and you will begin to focus on what you can control in order to obtain those outcomes. So that is just a great life lesson that she was able to share with us. And I hope that you were able to find a lot of valuable nuggets from such a great individual and just her overall perseverance and strength could all be resonated through our conversation. So please reach out to her, you know, for if you are struggling with issues when it comes to wellness, whether it's body, mind, or spiritual. Just sounds like a great resource. So I want to thank you guys for listening.